right, next we're going to take a quick look at configuring the mobile app. There's two different places you can do this, the admin mobile section and then the admin studio. I'm going to take a look at the mobile and Megan will take a look at the studio. So let's go ahead and share my screen here. Over here we're looking at a Sugar demo instance, the one I was logged into on my phone. To configure what modules are available and as well as whether offline access is available, I'd want to click on my profile button up here and go to the admin screen. Of course, a user must be an admin in order to get to the admin screen. Scrolling down just a little bit, in the system section, we find mobile as one of the options. Clicking on that takes us to our mobile configuration. And similar to a lot of other screens in the system, I can drag and drop modules on and off the enabled list to get rid of modules I wouldn't want to see. For example, most people don't use the employees module, and maybe you're not using revenue line items for your specific use case, or maybe you're just doing sales so you don't need cases either. So then you just have the most basic modules in the system. I could also enable offline mode, which allows your users to download data to the mobile app for use when they don't have access to an internet connection. For example, if they're on an airplane or in the middle of nowhere. The data is, of course, encrypted, and you can modify it when you're in offline mode so that when you reconnect to a network, it will automatically sync new records and updated records back with the main system.
The rest of the configurations for mobile are done in Studio, where you make a lot of your other administrator changes, like changing fields and changing layouts. The key changes that you're going to be able to make in Studio are to your mobile layouts. So the mobile app does have its own particular layouts, and we're going to see three of them: the list view layout, the detail view layout, and the edit view layout. So I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple of slides first and then switch to the screen share so there's a little bit less back and forth, but then we'll see all of these things in Studio as well. So as you might be aware from using the mobile app, when you're looking at a list of records on the mobile app, the screen only has space to show you two data fields. So essentially it's the name plus one other data point that's going to show on the list. You can select other fields on the mobile layout, so it lets you pick more than two. And the reason it does that is because all of the fields that you pick are available in that sort by menu. So any fields that you pick on the list view layout will be available for sorting, but only the first two are going to actually show up as fields displayed in the list of records. One tip here, if you want to try to show more than two fields on that list view, is to create a calculated field within Sugar that takes several fields values and does what in technical terms is called concatenate, which just means throw it all together. Concatenates those values together into a single field and use that as your second field. So essentially what you're doing is creating a field that has two or three things in it and using that as one of your two fields as a way of getting more data points on the screen. Concatenate, exactly. Throw it all together. Besides your list view layout, you also have a detail view layout. So the detail view layout is going to control what fields are displayed when a user clicks into a particular record on mobile, and what order they're going to show in when they're looking at that Details tab. A quick note here that dependent fields do work on the mobile detail view. So if you have any fields that only display when certain conditions are true, they will continue to only display when the conditions are met in mobile. One other sort of fancy thing that the mobile app does is it hides any fields that are empty, so it doesn't take up space on screen showing you an empty field with nothing next to it on the detail layout. So the field may be there on the layout and still not show on the screen if it happens to just be empty on that particular record. And one thing that I learned the hard way one time, a while back, is that you have to have the necessary data to make the buttons at the top of the screen work. So Justin was showing you the buttons for doing driving directions and making phone calls and sending emails. The corresponding address and email address and phone number fields have to be on your detail view layout in order for those buttons to work. If you take the address off of your layout, for example, the map button is going to just disappear because it's smart enough to realize that it can't do a map if there is no address. So you do want to make sure that even if you don't care about showing the address in the details tab, you still want to keep it on your layout if you'd like to be able to use that driving directions function. And then finally, one thing that's different about the mobile app versus your main layouts within Sugar is that there is a separate layout for the edit view. And this corresponds to the way the application actually works. When you go to edit a record on mobile, it brings up a separate page versus just making things clickable the way the web application does on the main page. And so the edit view layout controls which fields display when you are in that edit view, when you choose to edit a record. Most of the time, you probably want your edit view to pretty much match your detail view because otherwise it can be a little bit confusing for users if there's different fields available or things are in a different order when they have to switch back and forth between the two views. And dependent fields will also work on the mobile edit view. Calculated fields will work, but they work a little bit differently than they do in the main application. So in the main application, most of the time, calculated fields will update in real time as you are making changes to the fields that drive them. They will not update in real time as you're editing values on mobile, but they will correctly calculate when you click Save. So the calculations will be applied. You just won't see them updating in real time the way you do when you're working at your desktop or your laptop.
Sorry to interrupt you. I received 2 people said they couldn't see the slides.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, sorry guys, before this started we were having some technical issues and then we thought they were resolved, so just hang tight for a second here.
I'm going to click that push to audience button.
I did. I clicked the push to audience button again.
I think you're going to share your screen.
I am going to share my screen, yeah. So Deneen, maybe you can just share the slides when we send out our follow-up email.
I'll definitely do that, yeah, for any additional info. When Megan shares her, okay. Okay, some people can see now, it seems. Maybe share your screen. Okay, Megan's going to share her screen. If you can't see, shout out to me, and we'll just figure out what's going on. Sorry, guys, this is an issue. I don't know why. It's being weird today.
All right, so you should be seeing Studio now, and I've got the Opportunities module open here in Studio since that's what I've been just using as my example here today for whatever reason. So you can see within Studio, you're probably used to going into the layout section to control your main Sugar layouts, like what your pages look like when you're working at your computer. But if you want to change the layouts for the mobile application, you need to go into the mobile layout section. The mobile app does use separate layouts because Sugar realizes you may have more fields in a particular module than you really need to show on the mobile app. This allows you to pick what's most important for the mobile app versus everything you want to track in the system on a regular day-to-day basis. And within the mobile layouts, again, we're going to see those 3 different layouts available. I talked about the list view first, so I'll go there first. Here again, anything that you make available on this list, either in the default or the available tab, it doesn't matter which one in this example, those are going to be the fields that are available in that sort by menu that you saw earlier. And here is where only those first 2 fields are going to show up in the mobile app. Let me see if I can get my phone back up on my screen here. So if I go back into the Opportunities module, you can see, let me get a bigger list here. I actually have a whole series of values coming up as that second field. And this is where I did that concatenation function. So I'm taking the account name and the sales stage and the opportunity amount and putting them all into the single field that I just named mobile concat and displaying that as my second field here. If I jump over to the field section I can show you, if I can get my phone off the screen here, there we go. I can show you what that actually looks like. So this is using Sugar's calculated value functionality, where you can define a formula for the field. And the function that I'm using is just called concat. And then it's just a list of the things that I want to put in there. So I have a list of the different functions, the different fields that I want to be displaying. The other two layouts we have under mobile layouts are, again, the detail view and the edit view. So the detail view lets you choose the fields that are displayed when you are in the record detail view in the app. So if I click on one of these opportunities, you can see the fields here correspond to the fields here on my layout. And again, if something happens to be empty, they will hide it. It looks like this didn't happen to have any empty values on it, but let's just say for whatever reason I didn't have an expected close date on this particular record. It would just go directly from account name to assign to on my mobile app. And here again, you can see in this case, in the Opportunities module, we typically don't have phone numbers or addresses. So you can see none of the buttons at the top of my screen are there. I don't have numbers to call or email or pull up driving directions for my opportunity, and that's because I don't have any of the correct types of data on my mobile layout. If I happen to add an address to the Opportunities module for some reason, and I put that on my mobile layout, the mapping button would appear. And then the final layout comes up when you go to the Edit menu or the Edit action on your mobile app. Here again, you would typically have this be pretty similar to your details or your detail view layout and your edit view layout. So same thing here. It's just dragging and dropping the fields that you want to include on your layout, just like using any of the other layout editors in Sugar to do that. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. So hopefully we're going to switch back to the slides. Please. And again, let us know if you're having issues. You should be seeing some slides that Justin is going to talk about with the Mobile Application Configuration Service.
That is correct. I will talk about the Mobile Application Configuration Service, otherwise known as MACS. MACS is available for enterprise subscriptions and up, and it allows you to do some basic configuration of the mobile application before it is deployed out to your users. The basic configurations are things like modifying the logo and color scheme, and I think the coolest thing is to preset the Sugar URL in the settings. A lot of times when we roll out mobile, users don't know what their URL is that they're supposed to put into the mobile application. So this is an easy way to get around that and make your users' lives easier. In addition, Sugar likes to push out updates to the mobile quite frequently.
Apparently we still can't see slides. Do you have the PowerPoint just on your desktop? I don't right now, but I could get it if I need to.
I do.
Okay. Why don't you
Like just share it on the desktop?
Yeah.
Yeah, if the desktop is showing up, do it that
See
way.
if I can share my screen here. Share. Hide that. Click this.
Okay, so according to my audience view, I can see what you're doing right now. Help me out, people. Can you see this?
There. Everyone see my awesome slides? All right, Mobile App Configuration Service. Again, you can modify the logo, the color scheme, and pre-populate the Sugar URL. In addition, Sugar likes to send out updates to the mobile app quite frequently. If you wanted to kind of slow that cadence down a little bit, you can control which releases are pushed out. This configured app is released via the Google and Apple app stores. So you do need a development account with both of them if you're planning to release for both Apple and Android to go through their Play Store. And that's where, going back to installation, it can get a little tricky because there can be multiple Sugar applications out there, either customized for a specific use case or customized to a specific company that you may see out there. So you want to make sure you're getting Sugar's version of their mobile app. And this will also work well with the mobile device management software, of course, pushing out. So it's probably going to get a lot more use with larger companies. The other way you can customize the mobile app is with the mobile SDK. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. It allows you to essentially add any customization you want into the mobile application. We've seen mobile applications built that will show mapping of contacts around another contact or accounts around another account, kind of proximity search mapping that can be pretty cool, as well as routing for driving directions for salespeople. We've looked at doing customizations for things like being able to send emails out of the Sugar app in order to record those to history. And this is not all that different from customizing the Sugar web client. And in that way, you have to be aware of what customizations you're making to the mobile app, because they're going to have to play nicely or be updated to work with any future Sugar updates to the mobile app. So you just want to keep that in mind. This is can be quite the undertaking, because you're actually programming a new app